so that way
I
it's more
guess
comfortable for
I'm
you.
actually just being like cognizant of the buttons. I think that's what's freaking me out.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Alternative.
Maybe because we flipped it.
Yeah, flipping around.
Alright, so from here, we're going to walk up to Lodge Alley. That's about 4 blocks from here. It's not far, but 4 blocks sounds like a lot. It's really not. So my EMF meters I'm going to ignore because the parking meters that we have, the electrical lines are underneath the sidewalk. It's enough to make them go off, so I'm not even going to pay attention to them. Like, even when I hand these devices out, I'm like, just ignore it. You don't get excited on East Bay Street for any reason. But when we go down Lodge Alley, like, I'll mask up once we leave this lot. Again, up to you guys if you even have masks. I don't really care.
Okay.
But Lodge Alley, if you're going to listen, probably not, just because we're going to be talking and chatting because it's a smaller group. But if you want to listen to it, I'm listening for names. I'm not going to tell you which names or why until we get there. But usually when I'm going, like, listening to the stuff in the morning, I kind of know what the time frame is to listen for those specific names to see if anything popped up. So, again, I don't like to put that suggestive thought, like Red Barn and White Horse. By the way, you guys passed. I did play a little mind trick on you, and I said I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's White Horse.
Right.
And you guys both passed, so good job. So most people are like, is the president George Washington? So, but you guys didn't even think of that question, and I do that early on, so that way when I do say the pallbearer thing, you haven't even registered it yet. Like, it's either already gone or you've been thinking about presidents since I said it. So, I know. Told you, I'm not your typical tour guide.
What's the spot here? You just step down.
This is a 1 up, 3 down. 1 up, 3 down.
You see?
And then kind of another trick has it right
Okay.
here. So yeah, like I was turning people away for spring break for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's like nothing. Like everybody went away. It was the craziest thing.
Felon?
Yeah, that's scary.
If you guys haven't been to the candy shop, you need to.
I think we might have been there a couple times already.
It's like it's another reason why I start where I do. First off, so I can kind of give the heated warning about headaches and whatever. And second, because that's the only public bathroom. And now it's closed. Nobody's coming this way. Did you guys get a chance to see the night market? Because it's different from the day market.
We didn't see I don't think it happened last night because when we were here 5 years ago, there was a night market, and actually she found a Dow that we were hoping to buy another one, and then like last night it just wasn't here. You know, there wasn't hardly anything here anyway.
Because of the rain.
And that's kind of what we thought. We ate dinner. Yesterday was my birthday, so like
I know we
happy
came.
birthday.
We came by earlier too. And it
we
wasn't-
came out earlier, and then so like
There was nobody here.
the Charleston Crab House is like where I just wanted my birthday dinner. That's what I wanted for my birthday dinner, so I built a whole vacation around it. She puts up with me, but she's like, you can't make a whole vacation of a brand dinner. I go, I can.
Yeah.
I actually can do this.
So, I mean, the night market is back. It's just that storm last night probably scared it off.
Right.
And then today, there may have been some flooding. I wasn't down here today, so I don't know.
It wasn't bad at all, but we didn't know if it would be.
On the weekends or
We didn't know if it would be Sunday night
So
or
the
not.
day market is, I want to say it's pretty much every day, except for Sunday. So that might be today. It wasn't available today. Again, I don't come down here a whole lot during the daytime.
Yeah.
Unless, I got family in town or whatever, they want to go see stuff. Or if I want to walk the water. Like, I've been down here since 7 o'clock. Just so I can take a break from Ubering today and chill. But a lot of times I'll go down to like Pineapple Park and I'll just sit, by the water. I mean, I live by the water. I have to take advantage of it.
Right.
Because I get like one beach day a year. Like, that's it. And what's sad is I go on vacation in 2 weeks. I'm going up north.
Yeah. Well, we had been, we've already had it been 80 at our house and stuff, and then all of a sudden last week we got 4 inches of snow.
Yeah.
It was like, I was actually we were supposed to leave out of town Thursday.
That's a thermal imaging camera.
Do like a ghost
It's a ghost hunting tour. So spirit boxes, thermal imaging, EMF, like I do the whole nine.
But I work. It's just me, my dad, and my brother. It's a plumbing. We do plumbing, heating, and cooling. So it was like Wednesday was snow. We were supposed to leave Thursday morning. So Wednesday was it Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday. Tuesday at like noon. I look at my dad. I'm like, I'm on vacation, dude. This snow sucks. We're leaving. We're leaving.
My in-laws live in the Pittsburgh area, so that's where we're headed.
Reddish orange. I sent you the color.
So that's my vacation. Take the wife to go see her family. Give her a break. Of course, I always try to squeeze in an investigation whenever I'm in a different state.
Right. Makes sense.
Well, the last time we went up there, it was literally, we went to Gettysburg for a full day. I did 3 investigations. I went to Frank Lloyd Wright House. I did an investigation there. And then I dragged him over to the Flight 93 memorial from 9/11.
See, we've never been to that one. I would like to go there.
It was interesting. It's probably the most I've had activity-wise.
I have a band that we record, and actually the guy from the studio we go to, he does this with a group from Ohio.
I'm not usually into this stuff.
So I know that they were. I think they just did. I didn't read it, but he just was posting about some place they did last night that he was pretty excited about. But
Oh my god.
what?
I was holding my breath looking past them, and it told me to breathe.
I'll take it.
I'm not even kidding.
I told you stuff
I
would
thought my
happen with
mask
us.
isn't on, so I just held my breath. That's so great. That's
Wow.
funny.
Look, there's Noah in it, or there's Allie and Lon.
What is it? Isn't
That's the restaurant.
But the wife is, like, I'm planning this whole trip to St. Augustine because I got invited to come and investigate the lighthouse down there, which is one of the most haunted places. I'm sure you've seen it on TV
Yeah.
because every group has done it. But there's another podcast that I'm friends with. They just interviewed me for their podcast. And they're like, you got to come down to this investigation. We'll send you some tickets. All right, wife, we're going to Florida.
That's right. That's how you do it. It's called a vacation.
Yep.
I actually saw on Facebook.
That's where they have that really cool the big fort there too in St. Augustine, and we went into this down inside of this fort, and there was these caves, and then there was a little crawl through place, and like the girls went in there, and I started to go in there,
I said I am not
and
going
she
in
wouldn't
there.
go in there, and
I
like
could
seriously,
feel
like
it, no.
you felt like it was like this just had a weird feeling, So then we started. Then you research it. That was where basically prisoners were just put in there, sealed in to die. Then they put someone else in.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's why that felt weird.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't been to St. Augustine yet. So, like, this is going to be interesting. I told the wife 2 days of ghost hunting, 2 days of romanticism. So that's what you get. Like,
No, but this would be fun to do. She's got to enjoy this.
she does.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, when I'm doing my own investigations, I don't have all my gear out. So basically what happens is I take that camera and I put it in my cargo pocket, so it's just the camera part sticking out right. The spirit box is on mute in my pocket or in my bag, and then I have that spirit box running on my phone, like the one with the words on it, and then I have the EMF in my pocket. Like I go and visit these places just like you guys do.
Right.
But nobody knows what I'm doing. I just
Right.
did a podcast episode, so I just look at all the data later.
Right, because you have it. You can just collect it.
So that way I can enjoy it, take as many pictures as I need to, read all the cards and all the stuff they have around, and then kind of take it from there.
That's cool.
So that's how I do it around here too. So unless I'm staying at a haunted hotel, I don't pull out all the gear. I don't need to.
Yeah.
So how you doing, bud?
Howdy.
These shoes are weird on us.
Yeah, I go through a lot of tennis shoes here. This alley kills my shoe stock. I have to rotate them out. Alright, so let me tell you guys where we're at. This is a brief stop only because this is a quiet area. You have to imagine when I have 10 people with all the spirit boxes going and stuff. I'm like, all right, guys, let's cut it down. Give me 5 minutes, so that way you know what I'm looking for tomorrow and what you're going to be looking for when you're going through the data. So this place, when we crossed that last crosswalk, that was the original Charlestown walls. So it went up Cumberland Street. Now I pointed out again because that's where we're going to end up. But across the street was where they went north and south. So this would have been one of the original streets we had in Charlestown. So before it was Charleston, it was Charlestown after King Charles. Obviously, it's only wide enough for horse and buggy, but people used to live here. So there was little shotgun houses here in the 1800s. I have the full list of names of every person that's ever lived here. It's not an extensive list. It's not a census. Let's get out of their way. Sometimes they come out and walk up. That's where the security guys go. But this is where I go through and I have their occupations as well. So if we get something related to their occupations, like a mariner or a grocer or any of those things, it kind of matches up, and it usually matches up with the names that come along with it. So, how you doing, guys? How y'all doing? Good. Mm-hmm. So again, this is where I'm looking for the security for the hotel. So they have offices all around the block that they have to go and check. So I just kind of stay out of their way. This is Lodge Alley Hotel, Lodge Alley Inn. So it's a timeshare. And of course, this is one of the places I'll probably be staying at next year, so I can test to see if their ghost is real. Because every hotel has a ghost, of course, so I'm going to test them all and see what's real and what's not. But they did do an archaeological dig here, and they did find some of their tools and their silverware and some of their clothing, and classify these people as lower class. And that makes sense, A, because of the housing, because they were shotgun houses, but also because of the smell of low tide coming over the wall up this alley. So have you ever smelled low tide before? It's pretty bad. It smells like dead fish.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
we live. My parents live on the water.
Okay, so you know what low tide is.
Yeah.
So that would have been coming through here all the time. Makes complete sense. The Masons also used to meet down here. This was a Masonic lodge, so that's why it's called Lodge Alley. And again, it's one of those weird places where stuff happens all the time. It's not every single night, but when I do get it, it's solid. So if I get something out of the spirit boxes when I'm going through it, or the thermal imaging camera, I'll obviously give you where I got all my information from to show you that this is where this happened. So we're going to walk through the rest of this alley, and we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood. At that point, we'll be 3 friends just kind of hanging out, because tour guides aren't allowed to be tour guides in neighborhoods, because that's a neighborhood once we exit this alley, until we get to our next location. So definitely keep an eye on your word list, and obviously keep filming.
All right.
How's your feet holding up?
Okay, I'm okay.
And you guys are tourists, so I have to show you some kind of cobblestone.
That's right.
No, well, 'cause some of the older roads that I would assume are pretty old, are nicer than this. So it makes sense that this would be like this with the tide coming in like that.
Oh yeah.
It would have been through, I don't know how many floods. Offices aren't free.
That was so weird that it told me to breathe.
That was weird. I told you to breathe.
I don't think it's weird at all. I
It
agree.
was good advice. It was pretty good advice.
It did say alive earlier. So just stay alive.
It's just trying to help you. So this dumb girl's holding her breath.
And then you know it said Fallon right before we walked by those 2 guys. They were sitting here.
Yeah.
And then when we walked past all that like busier area, it said exam with like students right there.
Or for you to examine your surroundings.
General.
General?
There are no generals back there. Sorry.
Nope.
I haven't run into a tour. Another tour. Kind of nice to be the only tour guide working. Sorry, I have a lot of competitors.
Yeah.
And I'm a cell phone company. All these other corporate companies, when I don't see them out here, it's a good feeling.
Right. No, I gotcha.
Actually, the town's like pretty good.
Yeah.
It seems like.
It's Sunday night.
I
Welcome
really
to
wouldn't have to.
You're in the Holy City. This is a day for family.
I'm acid.
Acid?
Yeah. No, dude, I don't do acid.
So take note of this alley because I'm going to tell you guys the story of this place. I'm just not allowed to take you down there.
Okay.
There's a great ghost story down there. I'll explain why.
There's definitely lots of rules here.
Well, let's just say I pissed off the new owner of the mansion at the end of the block.
Oh.
And I got an email a week later.
He must want got paid. You said what you just said, then her box said compensation.
Conversation or compensation?
Compensation.
Oh,
Compensation. You were talking about it.
I'd be really if it said confrontation, like because he and I kind of had words.
Yeah.
Because I was in the wrong, but I wasn't going to let my group know that. they had my back. I was good.
Good.
So because there is a house at the end of that alley, it's considered a neighborhood. So
Okay.
same neighborhood. So this is more of your sightseeing type. You guys should have been through here with your carriage ride, I hope.
I believe so.
So we're going to look at several things because this whole corner is just covered with haunted stories and actual activity based on whatever stories you tell. So I always kind of watch to see what the word list is giving us, but it hasn't given me a signal of which story to tell tonight. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to stop here. I'm going to point out that's the alley that we just passed that I told you to take note of. Do you guys see the doorway in the center?
Yeah.
That's actually, there's a gate there. It is locked all the time. But that gate, that used to be called Dueler's Alley. So when there was a duel and a death from the duel, they would bring the dead body through the gate, over this courtyard, over to St. Philip's Cemetery, drop the body, and go celebrate the winner. However, nobody talks about that damn gate but me. Because nobody ever found the research. I don't remember where the hell I found that research. I'm like, that is like the coolest thing ever for a ghost hunting tour.
It's creepy.
So, let's talk about one of the duels that occurred there. So, again, it used to be called Dueler's Alley. There was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. So his name was Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. I say his name specifically because it comes up on our spirit boxes often. Either Brown or Joseph or something doctory. I don't hear Ladd. I don't think I've ever had Ladd, but that would be really cool if I did. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. The attorney that was handling all that money told Amanda, send the doctor away. I think he's just after your money. So the doctor moves to Charleston. The coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. He's obviously a doctor's student. He's dressed pretty well. This guy probably has money. So he sets him up to be robbed and killed. And somebody walking by sees what's going on and stops the whole thing. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He was an attorney here. He already lived here. He's from here. So he says, let me take you somewhere safe. This guy's going to set you up. It takes him to 59 Church Street. We're on Church Street now, just so you know. Obviously, big church behind me. So it takes him up there. He starts renting a room. The two become friends. The doctor's practice starts to take off. Amanda's moving down soon because he's proving he's not just after her money. He's got his own. So everything's going well. He becomes known as the whistling doctor because he whistled all the time. So him and Ralph are friends. They go see plays together, but because the doctor makes so much more money, he has different seats. So he can't sit next to his buddy. So they talk about these plays on the way home. Oh, look, here comes another giant group. They're going to go straight up to that church. You watch. Guarantee you. And I'll tell you that story up there, like, in like 30 seconds. It's cool, but it's not necessary to drag it out for 15 minutes. So anyway, the doctor, where was I? So they have different seats. They start talking about these plays on the way home, and they start arguing about one of the actresses that was in town. So the doctor loved her, Ralph did not. So obviously it turned into an argument. And then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home. So with that being said...
Grandma?
Grandma? That's not cool. There's no grandma in this story.
Well, it's like compensation. Your whole story is about money.
That's true.
Your grandma.
Yeah, I am a grandma.
Yeah, you are. Oh, look, they're going to come up right up through my
Okay,
group.
I am going to put my mask on.
Yeah.
Reap. Oh, Lord.
Reap?
creep.
Nice.
Church is right there.
Oh,
Oh, I have to symptoms.
okay.
Line in.
Whoa. What did you do?
I just set it down. Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Which so the thing we didn't ask, which I guess you know, I'm not an OB detective. So I don't know.
So you're gonna have 2 recordings, which is okay. I don't normally splice the audio together. I just know that it's stopped in the middle of the doctor story, so that way I know where to pick it up at. So
I'm so sorry about that.
you're fine. That battery's been a little sensitive. It got a little jolt from the next location, and it hasn't really been right since. And when I say jolt, it wasn't because somebody dropped it. I'll explain when we get there. So 2 people go their separate ways, Ralph and the doctor. Look at the size of these groups. You think they can even hear the tour guide? Probably not. I said out loud, I did. Wow, what a jerk. I'm on recording. So, anyway, the doctor is pretty mad. He goes home. Ralph is from here, obviously, and they're loud too. Do you hear that? Holy cow. So, anyway, Ralph calls his newspaper buddies and he puts an ad in the paper and says, I need to put an ad in about what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. He's not from here, he's not one of us. Let's get him out of here. So he puts the ad in, the doctor sees it, and obviously he's pretty mad. He says, let's go down to Dooley's Alley and settle this. So they come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He's willing to forgive his friend. He did not want to hurt him. However, Ralph still has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. He doesn't die. He doesn't come through the death gate. He goes home to 59 Church Street. I know, she's really loud. I can hear your ears piercing right now.
Thanks.
She's
Pretty
She's
abrasive.
got to because their groups are too big.
Yeah, way too big. But anyway,
Awesome.
stretchy. I'm waiting for kneecap. I'm waiting for bullet. I'm waiting for whistle. Very specific.
You gotta start. Whoever said you gotta start sending some cool stuff.
Yeah, we really need cool stuff, doctor. So he died 10 days later once they took him home.
Oh, so he did die.
He did die. You gotta remember, it's 1800s.
Right.
So he probably bled himself out. So they say as you walk through that alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Or gunshots. Now, have I gotten things? It was normally a place where I said, all right, all spirit boxes off, no noise making. We're gonna walk through peacefully so we can catch the audio. You guys listen for whistles. If you catch something, let me know. But we have a lot of, yeah, she's very informed. But if they would catch stuff and send it back to me. We have a lot of hecklers that like to walk by because all the locals know the Whistling Doctor story. So, and you can Google the Whistling Doctor and get a whole lot more detail than what I'm giving you. I give you enough for the spirit box because that's what I do. So let's get the story that she's telling up there. I'll be very brief on that. There's a sign right inside that cemetery. It says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. Reason for that, 1888, a young lady named Sue Howard Hardy died 6 days after her stillborn child. 1987, local photographer takes pictures of all of our cemeteries. He captures a full apparition. Woman wearing a shawl, baby basket next to her, right over that grave. It's 1987. No cell phones, no Photoshop.
Right.
He sends it to Kodak. Well, you guys are my age, I'm guessing, so you guys know what Kodak is. I don't have to explain it.
Right.
I get kids on the store and they look at me, what the hell's Kodak? I also have a digital camera. I don't hand that to a kid either because they don't know what to do with it. Or they give me 1,000 pictures to go through the next day, which is never fun. But anyway, so Kodak can't debunk the picture either. So it's been a local legend for a long time. It's very solid evidence. However, the picture's cursed. Females that hold it get the same symptoms like I talked about back at Big John's. Females that are pregnant that hold it, you're not going to have a good pregnancy. I'm not going to show it to you on my tour because you're not going to call me 9 months from now because you guys had a great vacation and I'm to blame because the baby came out whatever. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. So I don't show it. If we get anything related to that, I always put the heated warning in your notes. Before you click this link, please understand this is the cursed picture I was talking about. So that's the story she's telling right now that she's going to continue telling for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Let's get your mind on pirates because that's what we're going to investigate next. But I do want to kind of show you a little bit up here. So there's 2 sides of the cemetery. So east and west, the side we're standing on, native Charlestonians only. That side is for everybody else. John Calhoun, 17th Vice President, obviously from here. Well, not from here. He's over there because they had to figure out where he was supposed to go. They picked up his sarcophagus 3 different times across the street with him trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. But you can visit his sarcophagus during the daytime because that side of the cemetery is open during the day. This side is being renovated and being cared for. So it's very limited space over here on this side. They're taking pictures trying to capture orbs, by the way, because they all do that. So do you guys see the burning gas lamp off in the distance?
Yes.
That's the pirate house. It is literally just on the outside of the wall from that cemetery. You can't miss it. So if you guys are walking, how long are you guys going to be in town?
We leave Tuesday morning.
Oh, so you got a few days. So if you're down here walking around and you see the house with the big anchor on the front, you can't miss it. Somebody lives there. Don't go in his backyard and he gets pissed. Don't ask me how I know. So I like to poke around. Can you all tell? So, but the cool thing is that's where Blackbeard's men would come off the ships and they would meet with a few ladies, have a few drinks, have a bed to sleep in. And then they actually dug a tunnel from the pirate house, 1 block over going that way, over to Dock Street Theater, which is in one of the top 10 haunted locations of America. Reason why they go up there is because at the time it was called Planters Hotel. It still gave plays, but it was also a whorehouse. It was a hotel. They would go back and forth. But they would also work. Let's face it, pirates tie really good knots. So they would, even in between their bartering and trading amongst the locals, they would still go in and work at the theaters. So that tunnel, we know is a real thing because they just filled it in the 1990s. So the rumor was that Blackbeard actually had his treasure in there. We all know that damn treasure's in North Carolina. So now that your mind is on pirates, we're going to go look at a pretty badass, kick-ass female pirate that's pretty famous. So hopefully she comes through for us tonight because I'm really not getting a whole lot of other like, oh, that's really cool, that's really cool. You know, I'll be honest, like when I see things that I'm like, I'm excited about this, I don't have anything I'm excited about yet. So until I really look at the data the next day, let's hopefully we capture something with this last part of the investigation. Let's cross the street.
You don't know what you got in that picture. So now he has more questions than answers, so he decides to come back 2 minutes later.
Oh, by the way, there's a light that comes through that's to mess with guys like me trying to capture the same type of picture. The church doesn't want anybody like me up there. So that's why that sign is there. Yet every ghost tour in town stops right in front of that sign and tells that story. So we're going to be looking at this building over here with the crosses on it.
Okay.
So that's the powder magazine. So a couple things. First off, those aren't crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. Did they explain what earthquake bolts are to you guys on the carriage tour?
Like 5 years ago, yeah. I don't 100% remember them, but I remember what
The gist of it is because of our big earthquake in 1886, they started putting these earthquake bolts in certain specific buildings. And you don't have to be literally on somebody at all times. Like I said,
Gotcha.
You can try to. I know you've been trying to keep me in the shot too. But anyway, so the gist is if a building gets quaked again, those earthquake bolts are basically turnbuckles, so they can tighten them up and it'll straighten the building back up.
Oh my gosh.
So those are the very first set of earthquake bolts they put in because this is our oldest government building standing on the East Coast. So this is the powder magazine. It held gunpowder for 7 different wars. I'm trying to think of how do I explain this? I feel like I missed something.
Look, I got chest, but I know the doctor was back there, but chest.
Well, a chest could also relate to pirates.
Pirates, yeah, we're talking about
And
pirates.
you got dime, which is also another symbolic thing. So I get a lot of guests that are looking for dimes on this tour from their loved ones because instead of pennies from heaven, dimes from heaven are just as common. So dime is very common. If olive comes up after that or somewhere nearby that, there's an olive branch on the back of the dime. So somebody came for you.
Oh.
Which would make sense of why you had a
Grandma.
significant, you had grandma, you also had breathe. So it was almost like they're talking to you directly, which happens often. It's just stuff I can't prove, only you can.
Right. That's cool though.
That
It is
very cool.
So what's grandma's name by chance?
Cosby.
Cosby.
I never got to meet her. She died when my mom was 18.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Just so I had a name in my head, so something to listen for. So I told you guys about the Charlestown Wall, right? Came up Cumberland Street. That's Cumberland Street right there.
Okay.
So the wall came up here and then went half a block past the powder magazine and started going down towards the battery. So if you think about it, it is literally right in the corner of where the original Charlestown walls were. So it's there for a reason, obviously to protect it. So let's think about how far away from the water it is. It's about 3 blocks away from the water. So if a ship comes up and attacks the powder magazine and that cannonball goes through the 35-inch thick walls,
It gets clouded.
There's gunpowder inside that's going to make it explode. But
Right.
the cool thing is there's sand in the roof of that building. The gist of it is if it explodes, the sand goes up and then falls to put out the fire. Well, that's a great idea and all, just doesn't work. We had
Gotcha.
another powder magazine that burned to the ground because the sand couldn't put the fires out. But the sand from 1712 is still in that roof because sand does not disintegrate. So that sand is still there. We know that. Repairs in the 1990s before they turned it into a museum. So during the time that this was being built is where a pirate story comes from because it's obviously a very familiar building. So 1703 to 1713 took about a decade to make this building. 1708, right in the middle of that, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She moves here with her dad and his mistress, which happened to be her mother. So kind of stay with me. There's a lot of twists on this one. So they came here from Ireland to get away from his scorned wife. Halfway around the world, 1708, on a ship to get away from a pissed off wife. You
Yep.
guys got me? Okay.
Yep.
So,
Who hasn't done that?
right? I moved 2 hours away, but whatever. So, obviously she sees this building being finished. 1713 rolls around, she becomes a teenager. We have pirates coming through town at this point. It's the golden age of piracy. So about 1715, she falls in love with one of those pirates. His name was James Bonny. Dad doesn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. Obviously he doesn't approve. So what do? They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormac becomes Anne Bonny. So Anne Bonny, when you Google her name, is the most famous female pirate ever. So cool thing is, well, not really a cool thing, James Bonny did not turn out to be the pirate she wanted. He was a privateer. Basically made him a spy for the British. He was a coward. She wanted the Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow kind of guy. So what she do? She falls in love with another pirate. His name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Because he dressed really well. He stole shit from very sophisticated people, and he wore it.
Right.
So that was his Calico part of his name. So Calico Jack is an up-and-coming Captain Jack Sparrow type pirate, and he has his own ship, and she wants to be part of it. He says, okay, but females curse pirate ships. You're going to dress like a guy to be part of my crew. She's okay with that because her father used to hide her as a little boy apprentice in his attorney office when they lived in Ireland. She's used to dressing like a guy. She don't care. He's like, you can be a female in my quarters, but you're going to be a guy on my crew. Not exactly.
I would say no.
So, with her being a female in his quarters, she eventually gets pregnant. So what's he do? He drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby. We'll figure.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
That's just my booking of when somebody books another tour. So I know what it is. So it always gets people a good chuckle. So she has the baby, but she comes back with no baby. There's a lot of holes in this story, which is why I say this is almost like your expert level. You guys can ask whatever you want to when we're done, as far as your spirit boxes, instead of me suggesting questions. But now she's dressed like a female. She don't care anymore about hiding her gender. So of course this pisses off Jack, and she goes down below deck to the crew that he just acquired and captured, and she starts flirting. She starts flirting with a young man. This is guy number 3, by the way. I'm going to keep tally. So we got a couple more. So, so she starts flirting with this guy, and this guy takes off his hat. It turns out it's a female pretending to be a guy to be part of the capture of the crew that just got captured by Calico Jack. Sorry, that's a tongue twister. So obviously it's another female. So she becomes friends with this female. Her name is Mary Reed. She convinces Mary to, hey, come join the crew. Obviously Jack doesn't care. I'm a girl, right? So they're becoming part of the crew. The British fleet rolls in one day, and all the other pirates are down below deck watching the new captives, and they're too drunk to come up to fight off the British fleet. We're talking multiple ships. It's literally Anne Bonny and Mary Reed fighting off, the British fleet coming on. Obviously the ship gets captured. So all the pirates down below deck, including the captives, they all get tried and hung pretty quickly for piracy. So Anne Bonny and Mary Reed hurry up and dress like a guy before the capturing took place, and they go before the judge separately because he wants to know who is attacking them. Who is the only 2 brave men to fight back? So they reveal their gender in front of Chief Justice Nicholas Laws. So if my name shows up here, that's why. It happens all the time. And he says, I don't care that you're females. I'm going to try and hang you anyway. Then they pled their bellies, which both means that they said that they were pregnant. God knows by whom. We have no idea. But he said, okay, we'll delay your hanging. So they go back to jail. Dad here in Charleston, he's still got his Irish money. So he's able to bail out Anne Bonny and bring her back home. What we know from there is that she remarried again, guy number 4, had 4 kids, so there's another 4, and died at the age of 84.
Desperately.
Came back here desperately, I'm sure. So what happened to Mary Read? She died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. You can use your imagination on that one. So I'm only giving you the facts. I've read 5 different books about this story. I don't even like pirates. I'm not that pirate guy. I didn't even like this story until I wasn't allowed to go down Philadelphia Alley anymore. And then I started coming here and I started getting evidence. So it makes sense to me now that I'm actually capturing stuff. So we're gonna get closer to the building so you guys can check it out. We might get some film from the front based on if there's another tour hanging out up there, because they all like to stop up there too. Again, it's the oldest government building on the East Coast. So we're gonna ask some questions, we're gonna see what comes out of it, and then we're gonna wrap up this night. What do you think?
Very cool.
So I think everything has been more personal to you, I'm gonna be honest. So we're gonna keep it up.
Grandma was coming through to talk to me.
I don't know.
She's waiting for you. Good. It happened. I've drummed with her before.
One of the first tours I did, I didn't have much equipment, and I had somebody from Desert Storm on my. It was just him and his girlfriend. Everything that came through was about his buddy that he lost overseas. Everything. It didn't matter what story I told. It didn't matter what questions I asked. Everything was related to him. His name. The guy didn't speak our language, so like a lot of Spanish terms came up. He was his driver over there, so the word driver came through. He, the guy must have, on my, ghost hunt, must have been like the gunman. Injured. Interesting. Again, great picture spot. I was waiting, I was hoping we were going to be able to capture that. So, St. Philip steeple, the moon in the background. If you guys need me to hold something, take a picture, I can.
I can do that one probably.
It is really cool. By the way, that steeple that you're looking at is a little off from the earth. Yep. Just slightly. Not enough for the naked eye to see, but the measurements are
pretty here.
So from July, when it's 100 degrees out here at 9 o'clock at night.
Our summers aren't
drenched.
too horrible.
I'm usually drenched.
Touched me.
There's that glitch. We got the glitch. Now you got ticket. So this thing will glitch here. I don't know why. I just got the glitch that came through. It was a lot different than the last one I saw. And his picture's really, really light. It's normally pretty bright over here.
Hide.
But that glitch was weird. And I've had other tours stop. There's that glitch again. Unless I'm catching something, like light reflecting off of it. I'm gonna have to look through the back end of this
I think
for sure.
my ghost is hungry. He's hungry.
So we'll see what else comes up out of that, because there is a restaurant nearby that's haunted.
Oh.
There's actually 2 of them. So first one is over there on that corner. We passed it. It used to be called Bocce's. So when I open up my shop that has equipment and books, and then upstairs is a haunted hotel, that's a place I'm looking at. That's actually the end game, and we'll have multiple locations. But there's another one nearby over on Queen Street called Puget's Porch. I'm sure you guys have heard of that, being through the city. It's a pretty famous restaurant, but it is haunted by a lady named Zoe, who used to be a school teacher. So I get the words teacher, I get all kinds of things around that. Sometimes she just kind of pokes up wherever she wants to.
I'd like a menu. What's your name?
We have a what?
Zoe, how old are you?
Zoe died at an old age.
Just curious because it says menu. Incredible.
That's also weird because this is normally a dead zone for EMF, and I'm at 0.5. Just kind of hovering there.
Beat.
want to tell us?
It's kind of strange. No, it says feet.
Says what?
Feet. My feet are really swollen from traveling because I have diabetes and
Yeah,
back
seriously, that's why I
problems.
always mention
And
when
I've
she's
been
stepping.
struggling really bad and putting my feet up, and now it says feet. So maybe somebody is like,
I'm telling you,
A
somebody's
lot of
reaching
it's
out
or a lot of it's at you.
Yeah, I'll completely agree with that.
what would I even like? What could I even ask her? I didn't know
What color's
her.
your shirt? Something simple.
Okay, Grandma, if you're here, what color is my shirt?
Turn this one up a little bit.
Or who? I mean, it could be your grandma, or it could be calling you grandma. It could be anyone. But I mean, there's a lot of it goes right in line with you, though.
Communities are involved. So was this grandma on your mom's side or dad's side?
My mom's mom.
Okay, so ask what mom's name is to prove that she's actually here.
What's my mom's name? What was your dad's name? Static.
How old was Stacy's mama when you passed away?
I ask about the pirates. Let's ask something about
Okay.
these big bag pirates.
I'm going to say something kind of stupid right now, but I actually have like a really bad headache, and I don't get headaches at all.
And what, again, I don't
I mean-
see any EMFs here on a nightly basis. The fact that this thing is, look at, I'm at 0.3 right now. It's been jumping up between 0.5 and 0.6, which is about the mid mark on this guy. So, and it's going down and then coming right back up again and then going down. No rhythm whatsoever. So I'm not entirely surprised.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, I don't get headaches, but my head hurts bad.
Well, I talk a lot too. That could
No,
be
no,
it.
I talk more than you do, so we're good.
I talk for a living. Do you really want to go this route?
I get up on stage and I talk more than I sing. That's
Is that what you are in the band?
Yeah. In the band. So
Well, you mentioned that earlier. I just didn't know what instrument you played.
yeah, I have a little guitar, but mostly sing.
I was a music teacher many, many moons ago. That's what caught my ear about it.
I know just enough guitar to write songs. Let's put it that then I make everyone in my band better than me, and that's how I set my band up. If I'm the worst musician in my band, then I'm doing well.
Yeah. I couldn't deal with the drama. I was a drummer, and I taught percussion. I got out of the band life.
There is a lot of it. Unfortunately, even in people in their 40s and 50s are still drama.
I got out and started writing books. I've been doing it ever since. That was 22 years ago. I'm hearing a lot of Bible stuff, church channels.
Well, it did say reap.
Well,
Over
and,
there.
and your grandma was very strong Christian, right? Mama's mom.
Yeah, no.
No, I thought
No,
she
not
was.
really. Towards the end, maybe.
2.70.
Strength.
That's the highest it's been since we got here. 2.7.
Okay, what was Grandpa's name?
Would she know the nickname? Would she know what you guys called him?
What was Grandpa's nickname? Builder.
Builder. What was the nickname?
We called him Tata. That would have been a weird one to come up with, but
Okay.
Ashes.
Cremated?
Ashes. What was the only person we buried ashes was Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry, we did that at the cemetery ourselves.
Blue.
Blue?
Well, that usually shows up back at the Pinckney site for the indigo. That comes up there all the time.
That would have kind of creeped me out a little bit. I think.
No, we had, her uncle had passed, and they were gonna, who were they burying him with? His dad,
With Grandpa.
grandpa, and then the cemetery people didn't show up. They were late, so they were just putting it, just putting it in the ground by. They got permission, and they showed up after we were like, we already did it. Like, we did it. We were out in the cemetery with a shovel. It was weird, but kind of had our own little ceremony.
All the pain.
Yeah, I heard that.
I heard 9/7. I want to say 9/7 was when Anne Bonny was born, 1697. Don't quote me on that one until I research it again tomorrow.
So we can ask her. Let's ask her something.
The pirate.
The pirates.
You ask her what was the name of your husband's ship?
You know what's funny is most people don't think of that. And that's a great question. That's something I can prove.
Right, so you can. It's a little out there, but only certain people are gonna know it and enough to remember it.
I don't remember what it is because I've never had it come up before, but I
Right.
have looked into it.
Next.
Next question. And this went up to 2.0. Anne Bonny, tell us your mother's name.
How late do the people do these?
I try to be off the street no later than 11. He's probably just running late. He's got such a large group. Alright, so I am going to take that. Let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. I'm going to let that keep going for just a minute. Because that's like been giving us the most activity, I feel like. And again, that's why I give you guys the whole list, so that because there might be something on there you missed.